call this meeting to order. Who's going to lead it? Rebecca? You going to kick us off?
Certainly. As you might notice on your agenda, there's not a whole lot of items. The one thing that we did have on our notes from comments previously was that we could update the flood insurance study to say the latest, and I believe that was approved. So that's the only thing that we had to report back, but we're open to hearing any comments from you all or the public.
Well, I would go ahead and, is there anybody from the public that wanted to speak with regards to the topic for this work session? Anyone? Anyone? Commissioners? Do you have any discussion for the?
Do you have any discussion?
Nothing? It might be a short meeting. So we've made the updates with regards to, instead of calling out a specified flood report date, that we're going to just say the most current. What else did we have for those questions that came from last meeting? Was that it?
That was the only question that we had recorded.
Okay. Well, so you, with regards to this meeting, you're looking for direction to move forward?
I don't know if we had a specific direction needed. What we would probably just let you know if we're still moving forward in this direction is that we're waiting to hear back from the State Fire Marshal. We have a handful of days left on that, I believe.
Mm.
And then the next step in the procedure would be to come back to this body with those updated ordinances, probably at your next regularly scheduled meeting in August, to put that for you for adoption.
And a reminder for the room and anybody that might be watching, we sent out a ton of letters, correct? Mm-hmm. So we sent out letters requesting comments and notices on Facebook asking for comments or participation at last meeting as well as this meeting.
Correct. We sent hard copy mail, emails. Justin, I don't know if you remember how many we sent.
Nearly 300.
Right. So.
Andy, is it the end of July when we're supposed to hear back from the State Fire Marshal?
Yes.
How late flowing would that possibly be? Like the 1st of August saying our decision on July 31st was such and such? Or?
The statute gives 30 days, and that 30 days is up at 9/18 on 7/30.
So.
You'll be calling him at 9:18, right?
9/19.
9/19. All righty. Well, anything from staff? Anything from commissioners?
As I read through these things, what I had, I just am thankful that there are folks. I'm thankful there are folks that understand what is necessary and how it needs to work.
As I read this stuff every day, I learn that there's more and more I don't know. So glad you guys are on the team.
Yeah.
Well, I think with that, we'll just go ahead and adjourn this work session.
Could I ask a question?
Sure. Sure.
Sorry.
If you'd step up and state your name and address.
So Malcolm Watkins, 2009 Depot. So I kind of late to the game here, so just wanted to put it out there. So as we look at the amendments, so I'm an architect in Wichita, so our firm worked with MABCD, the governing body there, to work through their code adoption. Very similar amendments. The one difference, we just wanted to point it out to make sure everybody's aware, is in Sedgwick County, MABCD, they do eliminate the accessibility portion of the building code and only use ADA. With this new code adoption, there is new standards that get adopted. It's called the A117. With that, there are larger clearances required. So there's additional square footage that's going to be required in any new building as part of that. So there will be a difference between what you guys are adopting versus some of the other municipalities around. So I just wanted to make sure there is that additional standard that will get folded into this as it gets adopted, so.
Is that like the radiuses around
Correct, yeah,
toilets
instead of the
or
old,
in between
5-foot
cubicles?
circle that
and-
everybody
right.
is used to from ADA, it's been in place since 91, and now it goes to 67 inches for that. There's a number of other requirements that come along with that, so it's kind of a mixed bag amongst municipalities around here. You guys are definitely on the earlier side of adoption, which I appreciate. Working in a city right now that's still under 06, so not having to dig back into the archives for code stuff is much better. But just wanted to make sure as looking at that, during that discussion with the adoption in Sedgwick County, that really comes from the city of Wichita's attorneys. They've kind of held a stance for a long time that they've always written out Chapter 11 of the code and only used ADA for accessibility because there are some discrepancies. And so they've kind of taken the stances they want to protect the city from possibilities of federal lawsuits versus including that portion of the building code.
No, I appreciate that insight.
So then what you're saying is we are requiring the extra 7 inches, but the city of Wichita is still going to go back to the 5 foot.
That's correct. Yes.
But we don't require it on existing buildings. It would only be on new or material changes to larger building,
That's right.
larger projects.
Yep.
I do know just from our organization where we work at and our wheelchair clinic and everything, wheelchairs are getting bigger.
Absolutely. And that's a lot
Patients
of
are
the
getting bigger,
justification. Yep.
so that's the justification for it.
Yeah, it also applies to some door clearance, hallway widths, a number of other things. That, assembly spaces are one of the big ones. So if you have a big auditorium or church sanctuary, things like that, there's a number of additional requirements that get called out under
Well-
these new requirements.
We're not making a decision tonight, so we could ask staff to give us a side-by-side comparison of the two.
Can I speak on it?
Definitely.
So the reason why we were going with the 117.1, churches, organizations like that do not have to abide by ADA because they don't have to follow Title III.
Correct.
So that leaves assembly spaces in a bad spot because if they don't want to follow ADA and they don't have to, then we can't enforce any sort of accessibility on them unless we adopt the A117.1.
Oh, that's good.
So have you had any contractors call or message you about that specific portion that we're talking about? Because that's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's requiring, more square footage and more dollars. Or is everybody just silent and hoping that,
I mean, I haven't had anybody talk with me about it. The gathering is where a lot of this started. They were like, well, we don't have to follow ADA. Well, I get that, but you still need to provide safe access for people to get out of the building. And so that's why we chose to follow the code and include A117.1, so.
do you know any other municipalities besides Wichita that are going to stick to the old 60-inch rule?
Not that we've been involved with here recently. The only other municipalities that I'm aware of right now that are looking to adopt the newer codes that include its enforcement are up in the Kansas City area. So nobody else around here has started to move to the new code. So that didn't come into adoption or being incorporated into the building code cycles until 2021. So it's really new. It was written here in like 2018, but they didn't incorporate it into the 2018 code, so it didn't kind of start picking up till the last two code cycles. So we're seeing it a lot more in other markets, particularly in Texas. They have a whole other set of accessibility requirements, so we're dealing with it a lot more down there. But I will just say, I'm not going to pick on contractors in the room, but I would not rely on contractors to give feedback on accessibility requirements and what is involved with those. So that usually falls in our purview, and so that there are a number of just differences that I just want to make sure everybody's aware of. So.
I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you stepping forward and pointing that out to us. So we have more things to talk about.
Yeah, That's right, yeah.
But-
Hour to
but-
kill
We got
here,
an hour,
so don't want
yeah.
anybody to get bored.
But you're right about wheelchairs
Yeah.
getting bigger. I've been noticing that in other spaces that is
Well, we're
absolutely.
putting more and more motors and robotics
Yes.
and scooters and adaptive technologies. They're just bigger. Patients are
Yeah.
bigger, so.
As part of the creation of the new A117, there was a long discussion about actually requiring wider doors because of the larger wheels.
You mean wider doors than 36?
Correct,
Wow.
yes.
Now that would be a big deal, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they
Particularly
have
for
not gone
manufacturing.
there yet.
Oh,
Yes. But,
Yeah.
yep.
interesting.
I'm with Kathy. I'm just glad that we have people in the commission that know about this, people in the city that know about these things, because
Well, I rely on hearing staff talk about that, discerning certainty about how it should or shouldn't be. You can discern that in the discussion. And so that's where my trust level goes, what you're talking about. As I hear that and I hear, the reasoning with it and the potential to further explore it, I'm okay, good. Then,
I would offer one thing, if you did have concerns or anybody raised issues about the additional square footage, an option would be, just throwing it out there, that you could replace the newest version of A117. You could use the prior version that still had the same dimensions. It much more closely mirrors the ADA. And so that would be an option. So,
And we could amend the 117.1 to match ADA on
Yeah.
turn radiuses and ramp spaces. I know that is a big one when you got to go up a ramp and you have that extra space. That has been discussed, that it's going to take a lot more to build that. But, so yeah, I'd be definitely be willing to look into that. And
Awesome. We've got meat for further discussions, so
meat to chew on.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone? Well, I think not hearing anything, we will adjourn this work session. We will return at 7 PM for a regularly scheduled commission meeting. Thank you.